Hey everyone, Azzy here, and Floyd. We got some more information about Dread, the Unholy Descent. If you did in fact miss the first video regarding the finding of Dread, the Unholy Descent, then the first video will be here or here, somewhere. Click it, go watch that, come back, join us. See you in a minute. Now, since our latest video, the Discord community has been blowing up, and I've managed to catch up with the dev involved in the project. Now, before we get started in some more information, pictures, and early gameplay, I do want to reiterate that this project is from a single developer. There's heaps of passion behind it all, and this is early doors, early stages. Any content I am about to show you may change in the course of production, and in my time in the Discord, I've seen thousands of messages, questions, queries, regarding all aspects of the game. Now in this time, the developer and his community team on Discord are trying to answer everything with honesty whilst being as transparent as they can be. And I think in these stages, the pre-alpha stages, the very early stages in production, we the consumer absolutely love to see the passion behind the project, so we're off to a good start. So before we go into any new footage, I want to address the elephant in the room, or answer a question or a query that I asked myself in the first video, and that was the non-centered HUD. Now, in fact, it was an issue that the developer ran into whilst uploading footage onto Steam. So there is a centered HUD, and it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like this. It is centered. When the developer was uploading onto Steam, Steam resized it with their own dimensions, and this is what they got. And then since the video, they have had an influx of attention and interest on the Discord. So they have been working on things, and they've provided us with new footage. And here we have some new footage. We can immediately see that the HUD is centered. The health bar is at the bottom portion. You've got a compass at the top and then a map on the bottom right. Now remember, this is early alpha stages. We can see that there's different enemies in this model right now. You've got a typical zombie, and you also have a skeleton archer here. So there's different enemy types, and I can confirm that there are plenty of enemies coming to the game. We can discuss a little further later after this footage, as I had a short Q&A with him to get some information from him directly. Loot boxes and chests are already being implemented, and an inventory system is already here. Again, I will reiterate that this is in very early alpha stages, so a lot is currently being worked on. Things will change, and there are things in the video that the dev himself has already addressed is nowhere near testing phases, let alone finished and polished. Now he is pushing this along. Testing phases will come soon. There is going to be a closed testing phase where they're going to hand out keys to individuals within the community in Discord, and then once we get to the solo testing phases, we can iron out some of the issues and gain feedback from the community themselves. The current plan, from what I've gathered delving into the Discord, first stages will be a solo-only testing phase. This phase will work on the core aspects of the game to ensure things like the environment, physics, and AI behavior will work correctly before moving on to the next phase. The next phase after that would be group testing to allow a deeper stress test into the mechanics of the game. Now, PvP is a part of the game, but it won't be available until further down the line in the testing phase. We just have to be patient, as the developer wants to ensure the core fundamentals of the game works to his satisfaction before moving on. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I managed to get a few questions across to the developer to answer directly to ensure that I'm not just speculating in these videos. So here's some of the questions that I asked and he was able to answer. The first question I asked him was, what was the inspiration behind Dread, the Unholy Descent? Or what games or what inspiration led him down this path? And the answer that he gave us was that he has always had some interest towards first-person melee games. His first system that he thought of came up with different elements, and then those elements would react with each other, so you could have, gas explosions because gas would go towards fire, but he couldn't concentrate on the why is he creating this game. He was interested in the aspect, but he didn't have a why. So in his search for the why, he took inspiration from the Destiny's Gambit. Two teams fight through a dungeon, or fight through identical dungeons, and then whoever kills the boss wins. But in this time, players could also go into the other dungeons to kill the other team and set them back. But after a while, he enjoyed the idea, he just didn't fall in love with it, and he abandoned that idea. But then Dark and Darker came around, and that's where he found the why. It was a simple, yet very, very good feature of a game. And that was the extraction. That was the chance to lose it all. If you didn't make it out of that dungeon, you would lose everything that you've progressed in that dungeon. It's a simple idea, but we all love it in this genre. And that's where the why came from. So the second question that I sent across to him was, the fact that on Discord and on Steam page, there has been several mentions of different enemies, weapon types, and even puzzles within the game. So I wanted to find out more information or more detail on that. And this is what he provided. As you can see in the answer below, he mentions there are definitely several types of enemies, different types of skeletons with different weapons or abilities, some with armor and some without armor, different types of zombies that have different abilities, such as shriekers and revenants that have different roles within the encounters of them. And then for weapons, we will also be getting daggers, maces, swords and shields, great axes and hammers, potentially claymores, bows, a ranged magic-based weapon, which could potentially be a staff. And then, as you can see at the bottom, he does want to add some sort of flail-type weapon, which I'm curious to see more. Question 3 carried on to the topic of classes. And so far, the classes that have been confirmed are warriors, priests, survivalist, hunter types, thief or rogues, and a magic dealing class that we are yet to know much about. The warriors, being the tank type class, would hold an important role within the dungeon, using shout abilities that would taunt the AIs, kick and shield bashes, and even dashes. Stuns are also in the spotlight regarding how it would work between both PvP and PvE aspects, and is still in progress. Priests would be the healer roles within this title, and it seems they've taken a different approach. You can't just sit at the back and heal your team and yourselves. There may be another mechanic at play, meaning the priest would have to make sure the team look after them, as they won't be able to heal themselves and obtain heals a different way. We are yet to know more about this. I like his thought process, as we all know that clerics are incredibly strong when played correctly in 1v1 situations within the Dark and Darker title. Now I know clerics and priests are different classes per se, it was just an example. Finally, the last question was regarding the difficulty of the game. Should we expect another punishing title, or will it just be a walk in the park? With a lot of discussions in the Discord, he even created a poll for the entire community to take part in. The clear winner was a more punishing difficult title with dangers around every corner. Even though his initial approach was towards a first-person Diablo experience, cleaving through hordes and hordes of enemies throughout the entire dungeon, he's now tested and tried out the harder difficulty style, and he's taken the feedback on, and he already likes the harder difficulty approach. I feel like this community is onto something. With all the new content and information sent across, I'm really excited to see this grow and change through the course of time. If you have any questions that you would want me to raise, throw them in the comments and I'll do my best. I really respect and admire the passion behind the project, as well as the willingness to change due to feedback and ideas sent by the community. Now remember, this is still in very early stages, or very early alpha stages, and who knows, everything shown within this video could be completely different, but I'll try to cover as much as I can. There seems to be a newfound love for dungeon extraction type games coming out, and I for one love numerous titles that are appearing. Now I'm not a developer at all, but I would like to think that competition can always be healthy and may lead to new paths or new directions for each title. Now a big thank you for the developer for taking time out of their current obvious busy schedule to sit down and discuss some topics regarding development. I'm super excited to see what's next for Dread: The Unholy Descent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.